Good morning, students. In today's, we are going to study about chapter number 3, poverty as a challenge in economics. First, we will see that how poverty is being faced as a challenge. We all know the meaning of poverty, right? Okay. In our daily life, we come across many people who we think are poor. They could be landless, laborers in villages, or people living in overcrowded jockeys in cities. Now, in this, we can say that in daily life we come across people who are begging for food and clothes. We can see that who those people who do not have land or who live in overcrowded jockeys where it is very difficult to get food, clothes, water, and all the situations regarding that poverty. Then we have they could also be beggars with children in tatters. Means they do not have good clothes to wear, they do not have good food to eat. We see poverty all around us. In fact, every fourth person in India is poor. Means we have people who have money, but there are much more people who are poor. This means roughly 260 million people in India live in poverty. Means you can say about 26 crore people are there who are living in poverty, who are poor. This also means that India has the largest single concentration of the poor in the world. Means by this, by this statement that we have roughly 260 millions, we can say that the largest single concentration of poverty is in India. This illustrates the seriousness of challenge that how much poverty is in India. Then we can see the two typical cases of poverty. We can see the urban case. Now in this picture you can see the people are being loaded packs of bogies. Then the lady, okay, then the lady is she is washing the utensils. The third one, the boy is carrying out. Then there is a lady who is taking one boy in her hand and one girl aside. There we are going to have a discussion of a short story of Ram Saran. 33-year-old Ram Saran works as a daily wage laborer in a wheat flour mill near Ranchi in Jharkhand. He manages to earn around rupees 1500 a month when he finds employment. This money is not enough to sustain a family of 6, including himself, his wife, and 4 children aged between 6 months to 12 years. He has to send money home to his old parents who live in a village near Ramgarh. Ram Saran lives in a one-room rented room and crowded urban settlement in the outskirts of the city. His wife Santa Devi works as a part-time maid in a few houses and manages to earn another rupees 800. They manage a meager meal of dal and rice twice a day, but it's never enough for all of them. His elder son works as a helper in a tea shop to supplement the family income and earns another rupees 300. His 10-year-old daughter takes care of the younger siblings. None of the children go to school and have only 2 pairs of second-hand clothes. Shoes are a luxury. The children have no health care when they fall ill. Okay, so this is the situation of Ram Saran. What is the situation? That he's a daily wage laborer and his wife Santa Devi, she works as a maid, and they just get a meager meal of dal and rice which is not enough for him or his wife and his children's. Then we have to come to a rural case, that what is the situation in rural areas. You can see the people are working in lands. Okay, they are working in the lands. Here we have the story of Lakha Singh. Lakha Singh belongs to a small village near Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. His family doesn't own any land, so they do odd jobs for the big farmers. At times they get paid rupees 50 for a hard day's work. The family of 8 cannot always manage 2 square meals a day. They live in a kucham hut in the outskirts of the village. The women of the family spend the day chopping fodder and collecting firewood in the fields. He had to start earning when he was 10 years old. His father, a TB patient, passed away 2 years ago due to lack of medication. His mother now suffers from the same disease and life is slowly ebbing away. Although the village has a primary school, Lakha never went there. He started running when he was 10. New clothes are bought once in a few years, and even soap and oil are a luxury for a family. So, first we had discussed the story of Ram Saran, and secondly, we here have a story of Lakha Singh who lives in the Kucha hut in the outskirts of the village. This is a story which is of village life for rural areas. Okay, so you can see that how people are working for their needs also. Now, what do they show? Seeing these two stories about Ram Saran and Lakha Singh, what do they show? They show that poverty means hunger and lack of shelter. We all know that poverty means hunger, means we are not able to get food also, and we are not able to get some shelter also. Poverty also means lack of clean water and sanitation facilities, that there are lack or there are a scarcity of clean water. We do not get clean water and there are no sanitation facilities also. Poor people are in a situation in which they are ill treated at almost every place. Okay, whenever we can just give our example also. Whenever a beggar, okay, whenever a poor person comes in a comes across us, we some people are good enough so that they give them food also, they give them clothes also, but some people just ill treat them, just behave with them in such a way that we cannot just see. Okay, it also means lack of a regular job at a minimum decent level. Okay, poverty also means that there is no regular job at a minimum decent level also, right? Okay, now, here though we know the example or we understood the meaning of poverty, that what is the meaning of poverty. Okay, the meaning of poverty can be hunger also, lack of shelter also, lack of sanitation facilities, then no regular jobs. Okay, okay. Then we here have a poverty as seen by social scientists. Poverty is looked through other social indicators like illiteracy level, lack of general resistance due to malnutrition, lack of access to healthcare, lack of job opportunities, lack of access to safe drinking water, sanitation, etc. Okay, means poverty this does not mean hunger and lack of shelter, but it also means illiteracy level, means these people, these poor people are not educated. They have lack of general resistance due to malnutrition, means they do not get health medications if they are ill. Okay, they means their body do not have such so much of immunity so that they can resist. Okay, just because of malnutrition, because they do not get complete nutrition. Lack of access to healthcare means they are not treated. Okay, they are not taken to hospitals. Lack of access, lack of job opportunities, they do not have jobs also. Then lack to safe drinking water and sanitation problem. Poverty as seen by social scientists. Firstly, I discussed analysis of poverty based on social exclusion and vulnerability is now becoming very common. Now, what is the analysis of poverty? We can see on social exclusion, we can see, and the vulnerability is now becoming very common. So, here we have a table that is estimates of poverty in India. In here we have poverty ratio and the number of poors. Okay, how rural people, urban people they have, and then we have a combined portion. In 1973, okay, the poverty ratio we can say that was 549, combining rural and urban. Okay, then in 1993-94 we had a combined one 360. In 1919 2000 we had 261. Now here only we have number of poors also. In rural areas we had 261 in 1973. In 1993 there was 244, and in 1999 there was 193. Whereas in urban we had 60, 76, and 67. So these are the analysis of poverty which are based on social divisions also. Now here we come to social exclusion. What do you mean by social exclusion? According to this concept, poverty must be seen in terms of the poor having to live only in a poor surrounding with other poor people, excluded from enjoying social equality of better off people in better surroundings. Okay, if we are thinking about, if we are talking about social exclusion, then according to this concept, what can we say? We can say that poverty can be seen in terms that people who do not have good surroundings, who do not have socially um, equality, okay, though people who are living in better surroundings, who are living in better conditions, okay, compared to them they do not have social equality. So this social exclusion can be given a concept, okay, to describe poverty. Vulnerability to poverty is a measure which describes the greater probability of certain communities, say members of the backward caste or individuals, such as a widow or a physically handicapped person, of becoming or remaining poor in a coming years. Now, vulnerability. We had discussed social exclusion. Now, here we have vulnerability. Vulnerability to poverty is a measure which describes the greater probability of certain communities. Means there are certain communities which are greatly probably, okay, which are enjoying, say we can say the members of the backward caste or individuals such as the widow or physically handicapped, means people, the females whose husbands have died, and the physically handicapped people, of becoming or remaining poor in the coming years. Means what the situation is today will be the situation in the next year also. Okay, so this is a graph that is poverty in India 2000 most vulnerable groups. This you can see the graph is number of poor out of every 100% from the category and social groups and economic categories. We can say scheduled types we have 51%, urban casual laborers we have 50%, rural agriculture laborers we have 47%, scheduled caste we have 43%. Average Indian poverty ratio is 26%. So here you can see the most vulnerable groups are there. Then we have discussed what is poverty, okay? On the basis of social exclusion, on the basis of vulnerability, we have discussed what is poverty. Now here comes a concept that is poverty line. A common method used to measure poverty is based on the income or consumption level. That if you see the income of a person, then you can measure poverty on the basis of income. That how much income? If he has less income, he is poor. If he has more income, he is rich. A person is considered poor if his or her income or consumption level falls below a given minimum level necessary to fulfill basic needs. Okay, there is a minimum level that this much you need only. Okay, there is a need of this much level so that you can fulfill your basic needs. If you are falling below that minimum level, then you are considered to be poor. Okay, so here is poverty line. The present formula for food requirement while estimating the poverty line is based on the desired calorie requirement. Now what is food requirement? Okay, food requirement estimating, when you are talking about poverty line, food requirement is based on the desired calorie requirement, how much calories your body requires. Okay, so that is the present formula for food requirement. Okay, the accepted average calorie requirement in India is 2400 calories per person per day in rural areas and 2100 calories per person per day in urban areas. So there are different type of calorie requirements. Average calorie requirements are given in rural areas, it is 2400, in urban area it is 2100. Then we have poverty line. Since people living in rural areas engage themselves in more physical work, calorie requirements in rural areas are considered to be higher than urban areas. That's right, okay, because in rural areas, people are engaging them in physical work, and in urban areas, they are working mentally. Okay, they whatever they have to do mental work, and in rural areas, people have to work physically, so they require much more calories than compared to the urban ones. Then these are the estimates of poverty which we have firstly also discussed. Okay, so next we come to the poverty ratio in selected Indian states. So here is the percentage of people below poverty line, and one side we have been giving the states. Okay, so different states. The highest we can see is in Orissa, that is 47.2, in Bihar 42.6, Madhya Pradesh 37.4, Assam 36.1, Tripura 34.4, Uttar Pradesh 31.2, West Bengal 27.1, All India 26.1, Maharashtra 25, Tamil Nadu 21.1, Karnataka 20, Andhra Pradesh is 15.8, Rajasthan is 15.3, Gujarat 14, Kerala 12.7, Haryana 8.7, Delhi 8.2, Himachal Pradesh 7.6, Punjab 6.2, and Jammu and Kashmir 3.5. So you can see the highest percentage of people which is below poverty line is in Orissa, and the less one, okay, is in 3.5, that is in Orissa. Then here we have poverty comparison among some selected countries. Okay, there are given the names of the countries, and there is percentage of population between below $1 a day. In Nigeria 70.8, Bangladesh 36, India 35.3, Pakistan 17, China 16.6, Brazil 8.2, Indonesia 7.5, Sri Lanka 5.6. So these are the comparisons. Okay, now we have discussed that what is poverty, what is poverty like. Now, what are the reasons of this poverty? What are the causes of poverty? Okay, the first cause here is the low level of economic development under the British colonial administration. Means what happened? Then when British invaded India, okay, when our India was under the colonial administration of British, what happened? There was a low level of economic development. Means economic development was very less, and just because of that, what happened? People did not have any mode of income. They did not have any mode of work. They did not get any job just because of that. The failure at both the fronts, promotion of economic growth and population control, perpetuated the cycle of poverty. Okay, what happened here? That there was no economic growth, there was low level of economic development. And on second front, we can say population control. Okay, population was increasing day by day. So this perpetuated the cycle of poverty. Economic growth was less, but population was increasing day by day. Causes of income: irregular small incomes. Okay, there was irregular, means some was given less, someone given more, and small incomes, small amount of money was given to these people. Then huge income inequalities. There were people also where huge income inequalities was also arising. Socio-cultural factors. There was some social cultural factor also just because of this. Then there were some economic factors also. Okay. So for today it's over. We will continue in the next video. Okay.